Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. So guys, sorry. So let's get started. As I told you, today we are not doing any technical part, but yes, today we are starting, and every alternate day we'll be doing that. Not every alternate day, but at least maybe twice a week, Tuesday and Thursday. Not sure about the Saturdays and weekends, but Tuesday and Thursday for sure we'll do. Timings we can change. Normally we decided 3 to 5, but because Ramesh had a shift till 5:30, so we had to shift it to this time. But timings we can be flexible about with. If you guys have some work, anything, we can decide the timings and we can join on this time. Okay. So I'm sure all of you are aware of what is Azure, as and I know that all of you are aware what is Azure, what is cloud, what is AWS, what is GCP. By now, everyone knows you guys are working on Azure. Uh, so now the next step to this is Azure DevOps. Very first thing, Azure DevOps, it's not a technology, it is just a part of Azure. If I open the portal for you, let me open the portal for you. If I open the portal for you, you don't even have to go somewhere to find Azure DevOps. This is the normal Azure portal which you guys have been using, I'm sure. Right? Let me let this appear and then we'll see. Though we have a dedicated link to access Azure, right? We do have that. It's not that we have to come from here. That's not the mandatory thing. Okay, we do have a link through which we can directly use Azure DevOps. But what I'm trying to explain here that Azure DevOps is nothing but a part of your Azure. Azure is the whole chunk where you have PaaS, where you have infrastructure as a service, where you have SaaS, etc. Right? Similarly, Azure DevOps, it is one of the services which Azure has. It is one of the services which Azure has. Okay, so it is nothing different from Azure. But you should know a little bit of Azure, a little bit of any cloud, then it will be easier for you to understand the DevOps part. Is it clear, guys? Still here? That accessing Azure DevOps or knowing Azure DevOps, it's nothing beyond Azure. If you know Azure, your Azure DevOps is a part of it. Okay? Direct link, etc., which are which you can use to access Azure, I'll be sharing it with you. I have that in fact, that OneNote is already shared with you, with all of you, right? The all links and everything are already there. But I'll be sharing it with you in some time. So is this clear? I went to Azure using my same ID, everything. I just type Azure DevOps and I'm here. If I have any existing organization on Azure DevOps, which means if I have registered my organization on Azure DevOps, then I will see something. If not, then I'll see it blank and I will get an option to register a new organization with Azure. By the way, this is the tool, this is the link which you can use to access your Azure DevOps, right? axe.dev.azure.com. And you can also come via portal. And this is how it looks. You can create a new organization. You can check your existing organization. Under organization, you will be having more projects, and on projects, you will be working. I'm just giving you very high level overview. We are not covering anything as of now, right? So at the top, it is Azure. Azure DevOps is a part of Azure services. It is one of the services. Under Azure DevOps, we have organization. That is the first hierarchy. Under organizations, we do have our projects. And then under every project, we'll have boards, we'll have repos, we will have pipeline, test plans, and artifacts. So we will be learning all of these: boards, repos, pipeline, test plans, artifacts. Pipeline and the test plan, these are two difficult things. Pipeline is a most important thing. Most of the time, the moment you say you know Azure DevOps or any DevOps for that matter, they will talk about pipelines. They will ask you pipelines, right? Sorry. Sorry, someone has any question? Well, okay. And guys, here, Azure, I mean, I'm sure you must have heard this everywhere. Azure, it's not Azure DevOps, it's not a technology. For that matter, any DevOps, it is not a technology. It is a method. It is a method of working. So what is it? How is it? How does it work? Let's see it in details. But before that, whatever we discuss, let's quickly check that thoroughly with definitions, etc. And from where it came to picture. I am not quoting the years, etc. कि किस साल Azure DevOps release हुआ था. Not useful information for us, right? So what we will be learning here, it's what is Azure DevOps, what is the need of DevOps, right? And who should learn DevOps, and what are the benefit of DevOps. These are the things which we'll be covering today. Okay? It could be any DevOps, by the way. You guys are coming from Azure background. I am from Azure background. Hence, we are learning Azure DevOps. We will start with Azure DevOps. Later on, you can extrapolate the same funda, same details, same logics, same reasoning, same rationale to other DevOps like AWS and GCP. All of them, they have their own DevOps tools. And it will be easier once you know one technology properly, it will be easier. Right? So DevOps in general, guys. What is DevOps in general? Can you see this PDF? Is it readable enough?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll just increase it a
Yes.
little bit. Fine. So before I discuss what is DevOps, let's discuss about the life cycle of software development. Anyone of you at the beginning of the career, most of the time people go for software testing course. They are very easy and cheap. So normally we do. Even I have done the software testing course. So if anyone of you have done that, you must have heard these terms, these technologies. Life cycle of the software development. Anyone knows about it? What is a life cycle? I mean, you just don't have to read from here. Anyone knows what is the life cycle of a software development? Kumail, Ramesh, Arbaz, anyone of you?
No.
It's okay if you don't know. That's okay. So I'll explain it to you. What
Sorry,
happens
so what did
though
you ask?
the
Software life cycle, right?
yes, life cycle of a software development.
So generally, first the planning happens, then after the planning, the coding happens. Then after the coding, the build is built. Then after that, the testing happens. After testing, everything is done. Then the deployment happens, and then after
Okay,
that, it's
that information we already have here. Can you
sorry, I was
name? Yeah, I got it. That's okay. Can you name one or two models which we used to follow or which we still follow for software development?
agile and sprint or waterfall method.
Yes, waterfall. Sprint is not development method. Yes, yes. We have a waterfall model and we have an agile model. Waterfall is very old. Nowadays, you won't even see it. Agile nowadays, it is being still used, and DevOps is the latest one. After waterfall and agile, we have DevOps. So let's quickly learn about life cycle of the software development. Right. So what is the life cycle as Kumail explained? First thing, it's planning. What is our planning? That you plan your software development. That why are we building this application? Why are we developing this application? Which language are we using? Uh, what kind of technology are we using? On which platform are we developing? How are we going to deploy it? How are we going to release it, etc., etc. Right? What is the business significance, budget, number of resources you'll be using, the timeline which you have got from your client. ऐसा तो नहीं है कि एक application को आप साल भर develop करोगे, right? You must be having some sort of timeline. 3 months में बनाना है, 4 month में बनाना है. Are you completely building it, or are you building it step by step? Everything that comes under planning, and it applies to every software, every application you use. Planning has to be there. There is no exception for that, right? After that is done, then there's a development stage. Under development, what do? Your developers, they will start writing the code. It can be in any language, whichever you have discussed or decided at the time of planning. कोडिंग में हम लोगों को कुछ नहीं सीखना है यहाँ पर. वी आर नॉट इवन गोइंग देयर, राइट? डेवऑप्स में जो डेव है वो डेवलपमेंट के लिए, बट वी आर नॉट अ पार्ट ऑफ दैट. वी विल बी फोकसिंग ऑन ऑपरेशंस, राइट? So development part, it is always with the coders. Let's leave it. Then building. Now build the code for testing. Anyone knows what is the difference between writing the code and building the code? If not, maybe you can take this as a homework for today. It's very simple, very easy. But unless we have something to do after sessions. We won't go back
I
and delete,
think
right?
writing a code is where you actually do as per the requirements, you build the code. I mean, you type the whole code and that's where you write the code. And
And what is
building is
building?
where you actually use certain tools to build the code that you have written already, or building the software.
No, let me, okay, can you give any example?
Like for example, any product that we are developing. For example, let's just take Swiggy again.
Hmm.
So as per the build, type the whole code of it, how the application should look, and when it actually comes to deploying or building it, you use a compiler to build the code.
Not really. Yes, you do use compiler to build the code, but looks has nothing to do. Looks, well, it's different thing. Coding mein looks ka kuch nahi hota hai. So let's quickly conclude it. Right? Writing the code and building the code, if I tell you, it's a simple, very simple method. I can give you an example of MS Office. Right? All of you must have installed MS Office. Kabhi na kabhi kiya hi hoga. Right? Do you see in MS Office you get a setup file? वो होता है आपका build code, जो code पूरा build हो गया, where you can simply run a .exe file and you will be able to install it. That's what you get after building the code. But if you really want to see उसके पीछे क्या है, so that's not the coding, right? Code आपको कोई नहीं देता है, unless it is an open source, that's a different thing. कोडिंग वो होता है जिसमें उसको उस पूरे एप्लीकेशन को, पूरे सॉफ्टवेयर को लिखा गया है. ओके, those are your codes, and building the code is compiling them and combining them in a usable format. Again, you can use the example of MS Office. MS Office के वो छोटे से setup file में, if you double click on that setup file, ultimately you will end up with installing how many? 3 or 4 applications: MS Excel, MS Office, MS Outlook, right? Depends on which version are you taking, होम वर्जन और ऑफिस वर्जन. तो ये सारा जो कोड है उसको जो एक सेटअप फाइल में डाला है, दैट इज योर बिल्डिंग द कोड. इज इट क्लियर गाइस? Building and development the code, is it clear? See, when you go for DevOps, you should thoroughly understand these terms, because whatever we have learned till now as an Azure administrator, you are not even working with your development team, right? You're working on an infrastructure which is already built. That is not the new application you are working on, right? You are closely working with infra team. But when you say that you want to work with DevOps team, you will be working with your development team. So when you're working with your development team, and if you don't understand the terminologies like development and build code or writing the code, then it will be difficult for them to explain something to you, and it will be difficult for you to work on something. So is this part clear? Is this term clear to everyone? Writing the code and building the code. Arbaz, Ramesh, Kumel? Yes, no, maybe?
Yes, well, sir.
Okay. Once your code has been built, it's not that easy. Okay, code ban gaya and let it just release it. No, that is not going to happen. Once the code is ready, once it has been built, then the testing phase will be there, right? A testing team which will test the product. Now it could be there are a number of testing types, right? So we are not getting into that कि वो किस तरह की testing कर रहे हैं. As of now, let's say the build test we are talking about. जो build बन गया उसकी test की हम बात कर रहे हैं. It is still called a product, though it is not completely ready. उसका front end नहीं बना होगा, images, pictures वगैरह नहीं होंगे, but build is ready, and testers know how to test a build, right? So this is your whole life cycle का 3-4 हिस्से हैं इसमें. It is still yet to finish. It is not completed, right? So first is planning, then development. Development में आप code को लिखते हो, then you build the code, then you do the testing of that built code. Once the testing is positive, if it is negative, what do? They will send it back to the team. अब उसमें क्या होता है? We are not talking about the DevOps case. Okay, we are still talking about the legacy method. It could be waterfall or agile, both. What happens over there, that if you want to send it back, right? Let's say a developer, he has sent a build to you that please test it. You are a tester. A ticket has been assigned to you. You went there, you checked the code, everything is there, and then you assigned it back to developer stating that I tried running this and I found this fault. It is not working. It is not executable. It is not working at all, right? Or it worked, but I see these flaws. It is you said that it should have 4 applications, but I saw only 3 applications. Fourth application is not able to install. Right? Anything, anything for any reason, when a tester sends it back to developer will say, yeah, it is working on my machine. Maybe it is a problem of your machine. और वो उसी टाइम में इतना सारा टाइम जाता है कि वहां से मेल चलेगा, एक कोडर अपने मैनेजर को ईमेल करेगा, डेवलपर टेस्टर अपने मैनेजर को ईमेल करेगा, राइट? इसमें बहुत सारा टाइम वेस्ट होता है. सो टू अवॉइड ऑल दीज थिंग्स, ग्रेजुअली वी आर मूविंग टुवर्ड्स डेवऑप्स. ठीक है, जब हम डेवऑप्स की तरफ आते हैं, सो विल सी what exactly it is, how will it be done, or how it works, right? But नॉर्मली ऐसे ही होता है. एक लाइफ साइकिल जो है सॉफ्टवेयर लाइफ साइकिल डेवलपमेंट में इसी तरह से होता है. डेवलपर विल सेंड इट, अ टेस्टर विल टेस्ट इट. कुछ टेस्टर को खराब लगता है, ही विल सेंड इट. टेस्टर विल से इट इज नॉट वर्किंग ऑन माय मशीन. डेवलपर विल से इट इज वर्किंग ऑन माय मशीन. लिटरली आई हैव सीन ईमेल, टेस्टर बोलता है कि वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू सेंड योर बिल्ड with your machine to client. If it is not working on my machine, it may not work on client's machine. If it is working with your server, if it is working on your server, that doesn't make any sense, or that doesn't help at all, because we are not sending your server to client. We are just sending the build. So your build should work on any server. उसमें एरर्स क्या होता है, कई बार शायद बिल्ड का एरर हो, और समटाइम्स मे बी डेवलपर ने उसको पूरा लिखा हो 2019 के हिसाब से और टेस्टर के पास 2016 हो. इट कुड बी एनीथिंग, बट दीज आर द इश्यूज विच यू फेस. बट इफ इट इज पॉजिटिव देन व्हाट? ठीक है, पोस्ट डिप्लॉयमेंट अगर पॉजिटिव हो जाता है तो उसको सर्वर पे इंस्टॉल करके देन उसका परफॉर्मेंस, उसका स्केलिंग कोई जरूरत है क्या, ये सब करके देन दे डू अ मॉनिटर ऑन द लार्जर स्केल. ठीक है, इनिशियली मे बी जस्ट 1 या 2 टेस्टर थे, देन दे विल गिव इट टू 3 or 5 यूजर्स. वी कॉल देम बेटा यूजर्स. आप लोगों को भी एप्लीकेशन का कुछ अपडेट आता होगा, द मोमेंट यू बिकम अ बेटा यूजर, फॉर एग्जांपल व्हाट्सएप, राइट? आई एम अ बेटा यूजर ऑफ व्हाट्सएप, and this meta image feature they have released now, but before releasing they send it to their meta users, to their beta users, so we can test, and if there is any flaw we can report it to them. So before they release it generally for general public on a large scale, they give it to a little audience, to small audience, but they give it to them to actual use, so flaws and everything can come up, and then they monitor on that. That is what you're monitoring. Once that is done, then the planning team comes to picture, right? कि इसको किस तरह से ये करना है, किस तरह से इसको रिलीज करना है, एक्सेट्रा, बेसिक चीजें, right? ये सब इस तरह से जो आपका एक पूरा का पूरा ये रिलीज होता है सॉफ्टवेयर. एक एप्लीकेशन, इट कुड बी एनीथिंग, इट कुड बी बैंकिंग एप्लीकेशन, लोन लेने वाला एप्लीकेशन, 2 व्हीलर 4 व्हीलर, होम लोन का एप्लीकेशन, इन्वेस्टमेंट का एप्लीकेशन, क्रिप्टो करेंसी का एप्लीकेशन. नो मैटर व्हाट इट इज, दिस इज द लाइफ साइकिल यू फॉलो. Is this clear, guys?
Yes.
Okay. Now the models which we were talking about, waterfall model and agile model, in very brief, because we don't have to cover much about it, right? In waterfall model, teams, they work independently. Why have I written worked here? Because nowadays no one is using waterfall model. They used to work independently. मतलब डेवलपर क्या कर रहा है ना, वो बिल्ड होने तक टेस्टिंग टीम को कोई मतलब ही नहीं होता था. डेवलपर लगा है हफ्ता 2 हफ्ता, एंड देन ही विल कंप्लीट द बिल्ड. उसके बाद टेस्टिंग टीम को आएगा. जब तक 2 हफ्ते तक टेस्टिंग टीम आराम कर रहा है. आई मीन नॉट लिटरली, मे बी सम अदर प्रोजेक्ट एक्सेट्रा, बट विद रिस्पेक्ट टू दिस कोड, टेस्टिंग टीम हैज नो आइडिया, नो क्लू व्हाट इज हैपनिंग. Agile model, it's a little bit different to that. In fact, in waterfall, business team is also not involved. Business team ने एक बार डिटेल्स दे दी बिजनेस एनालिस्ट के थ्रू, राइट? उसके बाद डेवलपमेंट टीम अपना काम कर रहा है, टेस्टिंग टीम इज वेटिंग. That is your waterfall model. I'll share a picture of waterfall model and you will understand exactly what is a waterfall model. And after waterfall model, then we have the latest one is agile model. Not the latest, as in after waterfall. Agile model. What happens in agile model phase? Business team and development team, they work together for product success. So someone is doing the development. उसी लूप में, उसी ईमेल में आज एक फीचर बिल्ड हो गया, उसी बिल्ड में जो है आपका बिजनेस टीम का भी हिस्सा होगा, राइट? उसमें ही आपका बिजनेस टीम का भी हिस्सा होगा. सो ही और शी कैन पॉइंट आउट इमीडिएटली दैट नो, दिस इज नॉट व्हाट आई एम लुकिंग फॉर, दिस इज नॉट व्हाट आई रिक्वेस्टेड फॉर, और दिस इज नॉट व्हाट क्लाइंट रिक्वेस्टेड फॉर. अगर बिजनेस एनालिस्ट वाला कोई बंदा है तो क्लाइंट के बिहाफ पे ही विल डू दैट. क्लाइंट का खुद कोई अपना बंदा है, कोई रिसोर्स है, दे विल रेज इट. So that is your agile model, which is slightly better to waterfall model. waterfall model में बहुत ही basic था that client will give the information to BA, business analyst. Business analyst will share it with the development team. Development team will develop the software and then give it to tester. उसमें कोई एरर आ जाता तो टेस्टर फिर से उसको रिटर्न करेगा. वो 2 हफ्ते ईमेल फाइट चलेगी, ईमेल वॉर चलेगा, just to figure out that who owns the issue, टेस्टर का इशू या डेवलपमेंट का. And then they will start working on that, which was very time consuming, जिससे मार्केट में प्रोडक्ट नहीं आता है जल्दी. मार्केट में प्रोडक्ट नहीं आता है, बिजनेस का लॉस होता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल स्विगी एंड जोमैटो, इफ बोथ ऑफ दीज कॉम्पिटिटर्स आर or Ola or Ether, right? Any competitors, they are competitors to each other, and they want to deploy an application to get more users, more applications, more consumers. बट उनमें से किसी एक का अगर एप्लीकेशन बनने में इतना 6 महीने लग रहा है, तो 6 महीने में तो उसका पूरा यही चला जाएगा, जो क्रेज है वही चला जाएगा. फॉर एग्जाम्पल इन टाइम्स ऑफ कोविड, राइट, कोविड के वक्त देयर वर मेनी एप्लीकेशंस जिनका पहले ऑनलाइन हमने सोचा भी नहीं था. फॉर एग्जांपल एजुकेशन के लिए, पढ़ाई के लिए, राइट, स्कूल के लिए. वी डिडंट इवन थिंक अबाउट इट. क्लासरूम जैसे एप्लीकेशंस, वी डिडंट इवन रिक्वायर दैट. सो इमेजिन कि उस वाले टर्म में इफ वी यूज वाटरफॉल मॉडल और सॉफ्टवेयर बनाने में हमको 2 साल लग जाते हैं. डू यू थिंक दैट इज वर्थ? After COVID, it took 6 months for all to understand it is going to take some time, and let's, with the help of technology, let's conquer this and let's create software application which will help us. अब वो 6 months के बाद आपको अगर बनाने में 2 साल लग जाते हैं, तब तक तो कोविड खत्म हो जाएगा. So there was a need for a quick development. इस पूरे डेवलपमेंट प्रोसेस को एक्सपेडाइट करने की जरूरत थी. That is where we see the DevOps model. Is this clear, guys? Still here? What is a development life cycle of the software development?
Yes, Will.
Okay. So now let's see what is DevOps, and then we'll close it for today. Arbaz has an interview at 7:30. We have to prepare a little bit. Right? We'll see what is DevOps. We'll see what else we have, what else we can cover today. So we have what is DevOps. We can see who should learn. Yes, we can cover this also. This one we can keep for next session. Right? So let's start with this. What is DevOps? DevOps, first of all, it's a word. It combines of 2 words. One is dev. Dev is for development, and ops, it's for operation. And where are we? Where do we belong, guys? Are we in development or operations? What are we aiming for? Operations, obviously. Yes, operations. Right. So it's a word. It's a method. Like I have been telling you, it's a method. It's not a technology, right? It's a collaboration between these two teams, a development team and operation team. It is a bridge to fill the gap between these two teams. As I told you earlier, कि डेवलपमेंट टीम कर रहा है, टेस्टिंग टीम को कुछ पता ही नहीं जब तक होता नहीं, राइट. और बिल्डिंग भी जो है, कोड राइटिंग जो है, वो सेगमेंट्स में होता है, एंड टेस्टिंग के लिए सेगमेंट में नहीं आता था. आई how it used to work, like I will write 10 lines of code or 20 lines of code, and then I will compile it, I will build it, and then send it for testing. Right? But with DevOps, how is it going to change? We are going to see it. Right? So DevOps bridges the gap between development and operations, similar to how Agile integrates. Like we read about Agile, Agile भी same चीज कर रहा है, DevOps भी same चीज कर रहा है. Right? It is bringing the business teams and development teams together. एंड इसमें सब कुछ आ गया, बिजनेस टीम, डेवलपमेंट टीम, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर टीम, सब कुछ जो है एक जगह आ गया, which is known as your DevOps culture or DevOps method. You must have heard this term. DevOps is methodology, it's not a technology. So I thought I will explain it to you what exactly it means. Right? If you want, I'll just quickly pull up an image of DevOps, which will give you a better idea. Here it is. Can you see the image, guys? So under dev part, coding, building, and testing, this happens, right? Planning, it belongs at both sides, operations also and development side also. Then the moment it gets released, deployment, operation, monitoring, it is a part of operation team. Is this clear? Yes, guys. Yes, no, maybe any doubt? Okay. And these are the tools. We are not learning them now, but just for your information, these are the tools. ऑपरेशन साइड कौन से टूल यूज होते हैं एंड डेव साइड कौन से टूल यूज होते हैं, राइट? सो यू मस्ट हैव हर्ड डॉकर, शेफ, पपेट, एंसिबल, कुबरनेटीज, ये सब आप लोगों ने आई एम श्योर बहुत बार सुना है. वी आर नॉट touching the tools as of now. We are just focusing on DevOps as of now. Tools will do later once we are done with our DevOps. Right? So DevOps is a culture or a practice. It is not a tool. There are many tools which support DevOps, but DevOps is not a tool. We have only 10 minutes left, guys. So I'll be a bit quicker with this one. So DevOps, it's a practice. It's not a tool. It's a process, or it is a method which ensures the collaboration throughout the software development life cycle. As in, after the build, your operation team will come to picture. No, that is not happening. From starting to scratch, from scratch till end, both teams will work together. What happens because of that? It will enhance the product quality and compatibility across the environments. Why? Because the moment you are building something, that is being tested immediately. So if you write a code for 2016 and that is being tested on 2019, you immediately know that it is not going to work on 2019. So at least you will have it very clear that my code is only for 2016, or you will make changes and make sure that it works in 2019, 2022 also. Okay. Importance of DevOps. What is the importance? Developer and operations, they are working together to maintain the consistent environment, right? What it addresses the common issues where code works on developer's machine but fails on other environments. Same to example मैंने दिया था. ये होगा ही नहीं. Why won't it happen? You will learn when we start learning the technical things into this. That how the operation team is providing the similar or same environment to a developer and to a tester. तो ये issue ही नहीं होने वाला है कभी, right? Like we have seen the physical machine, उसके ऊपर हमने देखा था virtual machine, right? उसके ऊपर अब एक और है containers. So we will learn containers, how containers work, कि no matter which machine you have, but मेरे application को जितना requirement था ये सब कुछ इस container में है. So you run the same container on your machine, developer will run the same container on his machine, tester will run the same container on his or her machine, right? तो उसके बाद ये इशू आने ही नहीं वाला है कि it is working on your environment, not working on my environment. But who will help with that? That is the operation parts team. That's where we come in. Automation in DevOps. Numerous tools are available for automation. Just now I showed you the tools which are available for DevOps, right? What the tools will do, they will they will help us in the configuration. They will help us to reduce pricing. Many features are there, and it will automate the development of life cycle to an extent. Not completely, but to an extent. Then we have CI/CD, which is continuous integration and continuous deployment. It is not delivery. We are not a part of delivery, guys. Whenever you're talking about DevOps, you are a part of deployment. Right? Delivery is something different. CI/CD, don't say continuous delivery. You will be marked down immediately. So it's continuous integration and continuous deployment. Every code commits a trigger, automatically built. What does it mean? That I explained it to you how it used to happen, that a developer used to write 10 codes, then he used to make a build, और उसके बाद एक tester के पास आता था. But under DevOps, we have continuous integration and continuous deployment, right? Which is CI/CD pipeline. This is a pipeline. Here, the moment a coder or a developer writes a code, it triggers the automatic build. I mean, your developer he doesn't have to do anything, right? He just has to focus on his thing. He doesn't have to do anything on that, right? So the moment it is done, a build will be triggered. And the moment the build has been triggered, the operation part will start the testing. Or you can automate that also. With the test plan, I showed you a few services we have. We are going to see that later. Right? But this is how it is going to help us. That we don't have to wait for a complete build to be created. Is it clear, guys? Still here?
Yes.
Yes.
It is very easy to change something in a single code. The moment you have written one line of code or two line of code and you commit that code, as in you submit it for checking, you are checking the code, कुछ उसमें गलत हो जाता ना, तो even it's easier for developer कि उसको base line का code नहीं देखना है जाके. Now he knows remaining ऊपर के 18 line check हो चुके हैं already. Last दो line जो मैंने आज submit किए थे उसी में कोई error है. So it is time saving, and obviously then it increases the quality of the product, quality of the software. That is your DevOps. Who should learn the DevOps? Everyone in software development team. Developers, yes, definitely they should learn DevOps. Why? It will improve their development process and deployment process, right? Testers, yes, testers should learn. Why should they learn? Because nowadays under DevOps, we are automating the processes, right? So testers should know, so their testing efficiency will enhance. Product owner, who's a product owner? A business owner, जो idea लेकर आया है. Why should they learn the DevOps? To understand the development and operation workflow, कि कहाँ तक बना है, क्या हो रहा है, किस कोड पे टेस्टिंग चल रही है, किसका डेवलपमेंट चल रहा है, कौन सा सेंड किया गया, right? Scrum Master. Do you understand, guys, who is a Scrum Master? Before I explain, why should a Scrum Master learn? Do you know what is a Scrum Master? No? Okay, that's fine, guys. Let's not run with this. I don't want, only 3 minutes are left and I don't want to cover everything in day one. इसको मैं 3 मिनट में पढ़ लूंगा तो आप लोगों को नहीं समझ में आएगा, right? I'll be sharing this online copy of this PPT as well. It is in progress as of now. It's not yet completed. I'm working on this on daily basis, so I'll be sharing it an online copy with you. Okay. So as of now, we'll stop here. What did we learn today? We learned what is DevOps. Okay. What is the need of the DevOps? Who should learn DevOps, and what are the benefits of DevOps? We'll cover in the next session. On Thursday, we'll meet, we'll discuss the timing on WhatsApp group. We'll repeat from here. Who should learn DevOps and why should they learn? Okay, guys, only 3 minutes are pending. If anyone has any question, any doubt, please feel free to ask, or I'll close the session. Okay, then I'll consider that there are no questions. So, yes, Kumel, do you have any question?
No, sir, nothing. I was just saying thank you.
Sure, no problem. Thanks, guys. I'll see you on Thursday. I'll confirm the time. Bye all.
Bye.